the one great thing about this as well is last time we were seeing Armel go for a lot more utility with Alina. This time around, he's going to have to farm up a lot more. I think this might signal Gabby taking a bit less of a farm-intensive hero. Just play along with team, give the TA a little bit more space to farm up. But Fnatic, they pulled something out that we haven't seen in a while. The Earth Spirit makes the appearance.
I get very excited when I see this hero, John. You know me. The Earth Spirit, one of my favorites. I think it does work quite nicely into the Brewmaster TA. So you do have that inbuilt silence. You have a nice way of burning through the refraction charges and just creating all kinds of havoc. TNC, however, go into the Rubik now. And that's quite interesting as well, because I don't really see too much that the Rubik's going to be stealing here. You do have the morph, the attribute shift, so you can just attribute shift strength all the way on the Rubik. That's kind of nice. You've got the Nature's Prophet TP, which can also be quite devastating, but apart from that, you're generally not going to steal anything away from the Earth Spirit, because you don't have rocks available on the Rubik, so you can't really make use of the spells of the Earth Spirit. But perhaps just the presence of the Morph Prophet alone is enough to go into that Rubik pick.
Yeah, I think it's, as you mentioned, there's not much to steal, but just having this hero around for laning, for control, is pretty solid. It gives them a way to kind of slow down the Morphling's farm early on. If they will run that dual lane with the Brew, I think it is fairly potent. There's some decent rotating potential as well, as long as if you need to help Armel out down mid, the Rubik can help stabilize that lane. So it's a solid 4 pick. Fnatic, though, they pick something up that we've seen other regions ban out a lot. The Clinks makes an appearance, and that's an interesting one. This is not something I've seen Fnatic pick too recently, or although I might have skimmed it over, but there's a lot of potency with that. A lot of physical damage now coming out. Depending on how they build on the NP, the Clinks can go for a Desolator. Again, they can melt towers fast if they wanted to, and they can get aggressive fairly early on. So I do like the Clinks pick. It does leave you kind of questioning where it will go, whether it's going to be a pure core or kind of a support on top of the Earth Spirit, although that is fairly greedy. But it does have a lot of rotating potential, and it kind of can tear through the backline. Rubik's fairly squishy. Chen can kind of be taken care of as well. So you've got a great way to deal with those messy supports now.
I love the Clinks pick. I'll be frank, John. There's just so many, like the Chen Rubik are going to have such a hard time going up against that Clinks. Whether it is a support or whether it's a core, it's just going to be very, very hard to deal with this Clinks every single time you get into a team fight. And I don't particularly see a way to deal with it, right? It's just going to drain your economy, force you to buy detection constantly. And really, you don't have that big gap closer, apart from maybe the Brewmaster TA. But it's not like they necessarily want to make the jump on the Clinks. You might rather go after the Morphling first. And just try and burst him down ASAP. Only time will tell, but I gotta say I like where Fnatic's going with this. Of course, it is a best of 2, so all they're trying to do is draw out this series right now, up against TNC. Definitely not wanting to give a 2-0 away to TNC to get them started off with the BTS Pro Series 2. And Fnatic will finish off with the Wyvern, which does actually give some value to the Rubik, but overall, when you've got that Brewmaster there that does prove to be a headache, when you've got the Chen there with all his dominated creeps, I like the Wyvern pick. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to take care of KP. So you've got a solid way of just preventing the Brew, as you mentioned, and it makes it a lot more devastating if you catch Armel in it as well. There's no way, for the most part, there's no way KP survives through that much damage. So it does work out in that lineup, and that does mean it's going to be a core Clinks, but TNC picks up something we were talking about from first game. They go back to the Ricky. So they've got a great way to deal with all of these heroes now. A Silence and Morphling just kind of ruins him. Unless you have a 4-staff up and running, he's not going to be able to morph up, and this gives Gabby a really easy way to punish Savage.
I love the Ricky pick. We'll just maximize the draft now, just so we can have a good look there. And it is going to be a hard game for Fnatic in terms of controlling up that Ricky. You don't really have much in the way of lockdown apart from that curse. DJ can do some work on the Earth Spirit, though I've got to tell you from experience, John, it can be tough chasing down this Ricky, as it can just blink away and commit tricks to the trade and Do all these little things to just juke you out as an Earth Spirit. Of course, you do also have the blow-up potential there from Savage, assuming he does go the shotgun build. But that can also be ineffective considering you do still need detection. So I think this is going to make it very, very difficult for the side of Fnatic to deal with. Overall, I think both drafts are quite nice, though. It's one of those games where it could go either way. Just really depends on how well they can execute these drafts. But I do kind of lean more towards TNC, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Like, I love the 23 Savage Morphling, but RMLTA and Gabby Pos1 Ricky, and even the KP Brewmaster, that scares me a little bit for Fnatic.
Yeah, it's a really potent draft from TNC. I think the one big worry for Fnatic is that their timings aren't too different. Like, you're not playing around Exorcism in this case, but the item timings are fairly the same. The power spikes are almost the same, although Savage does scale a bit better towards the late game. But TNC, if they show us the same pace as they did in Game 1, with this lineup, I don't think it's going to be that different at all. They've got the answers in their draft.
That they do. We'll go into a game number 2 between TNC and Fnatic. Has begun. No pauses to start us off, but I've got to say, John, and you were talking about this before the series even started. You gotta love the fact that Battle Pass is out and we get to cast a lot of SEA Dota now. And immediately, of course, the bounty has been placed on the Nature's Prophet. So poor Ice is gonna have to watch himself now. But you gotta love the Battle Pass, all chat spam, and the bounties have been a lot of fun recently as well.
Oh yeah,
it's good stuff.
It has been. I think a lot of other regions do tend to jump those bounties.
I saw that ending from miles away.
I love that, you get these tiny conversations as well, talking about what MY is. Poor Armel, not quite guessing right, but perfectly fine.
TNC. I mean, it'd just be amazing for this Radiant side to be able to pull off this victory up against a team like Fnatic to start off the whole league. They've been really struggling as of late as a team, and 2-0 victory up against one of the teams like Fnatic would be a great way to get themselves started.
The battle begins.
Yeah,
Gabby.
It's,
Trade harassment there with DJ. DJ's going to roll in after taking the bounty rune, though Gabby, of course, will just be able to blink out of there. And that's kind of what I talked about. Like, even if, as the game goes on, you get a few more levels on that ES, it's going to be hard to really lock down that Ricky long enough to be able to actually kill him off. Like, up until you have points in the silence, maybe. But even then, it can be very, very hard.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit tricky for DJ. At the least, with this hero, he could go for the other supports, for the other cores fairly easily. It's really just Gabby. I don't think they should be jumping him too early in this lane. They should probably focus on trying to force out March, because he is just going to constantly take one of the Treants off, and that just takes a lot of Ice's early presence away.
It does make it tough. Even with March, right? Like, DJ's going to try and, take control of this side jungle for the Radiant, but you just can't up against the Chen. He will pull away the creep wave at least and try to set up a decent lane equilibrium there for Ice. Ice, in fact, may actually just skip the creep wave itself and just avoid any kind of contact with Gabby and March, but now they will loop around, try to dish out more harassment onto this Prophet. But he'll be more than happy to just pull this creep wave away again. We'll have a quick look at the other lanes as well, because Armel is going to be there up against Moon. So we are seeing the mid Clinks up against that TA, and that should be a rather even matchup between the two. Like, neither one really has much kill potential in those earlier levels, right? So you're just going to be trading farm most of the time between the Clinks TA.
Yeah, I reckon Armel should have a slight edge by the time he hits 4. Moon has to play around Death Pack, and that's still a fairly long cooldown, even as a regular spell.
Hey, but you look at this, John, like, Moon is just harassing away with those searing arrows, and once your refraction's gone, there's just nothing you can do. Armel will be forced to salve up rather early, but Moon Tries to cancel. Refraction will save that cell from being cancelled off. But when you've got lane control like this, as the Clinks, it is going to be hard to contest for RML. In fact, they're going to bring DJ in straight off the bat, rolling in but not connecting with the roll. Good game sense there from RML to back off. And he won't bother using the boulder smash either.
Yeah, it's a little bit of time wasted. That does free up the bot lane as well, so Ice is not going to have the backup of that Earth Spirit, although they are still sticking around. They want to pressure Armel.
I don't blame them for this. They know what RML gets up to if he gets farm on this TA. He becomes a real monster. And RML, I'm not sure if this is the time to tip people. Oh, maybe it is. He is underneath a ward after all. RML gets kicked back. He's going to start getting harassed up by Moon. He does have refraction though. That Observer ward will keep RML safe. Even forcing DJ to stop wasting time and just make the roll. But DJ's not backing off. He's still coming back in. He's very, very dedicated, but surely he realizes by this point there is a ward there.
It's, you would want those early rotations to work out when you're on the Earth Spirit. It's just, Armel can be a bit tanky, so you're going to have to give up on that for now, and perhaps just help Ice secure his own lane.
Is there much he can do, though, as an Earth Spirit? It's like, I really don't think DJ can help much here in this bot lane.
Yeah, it's,
And he places an Obs ward there as well, but it's already right next to a Radiant Observer ward, so that should be de-warded very, very quickly by March. He's going to head up top instead. I think that's the right play. Tim's should be an easy pick-off if they connect the roll.
Oh.
Fade Bolt from Tim's already being expended, and now KP going to rush forward onto Savage, who is strength morphing right now, though there's going to be a lift. Savage will be safe. They're just going to make this lane as uncomfortable as possible for this Morphling. DJ just going to bide his time and just stick around here. Trying to wait for that perfect opportunity to be able to roll in. In fact, there it is. He does roll in onto Tim's with the kickback on that Rubik. Tim's should just definitely be dead here. However, he is going after Jabs and maybe he does find him, but they find the first blood on Tim's first. Jabs falling just a second afterwards. That was the Cinderbrew damage from KP finishing off that Wyvern. But overall, Fnatic going to be very, very happy about that kill.
Yeah, they do manage to finally make DJ's rotations work out. And you really want that early aggression to be consistent from Fnatic. So DJ's just going to have to spend a lot of time going from lane to lane. We see him walking around the jungle area again. Not really, again, at level 5 Armel, it's already getting pretty hard to pin down. So I don't know how successful you can really hope for this rotation to be.
Well, it seems like they might need more than one rotation. Like, DJ is probably not going to be enough. In fact, DJ probably will run back top very, very soon. Armel, though, is now just jungling for the moment. I guess the best DJ could ask for is maybe just, you know, go in and interrupt that jungle farm a little bit on Armel, but instead, they're just going to try and force down this mid-tier 1 tower. Ice has rotated in. TP is going to be there from KP to try and defend this tower. But no, he has to cancel that off as well as he was surrounded, and that's actually 2 TPs being cancelled now for TNC. So Armel will rotate in there with March. Roll in. There is going to be a lift there from Tims onto Ice, who is dropping quite fast. He will die in that Nature's Prophet. Tims will die in the process. But you're going to be pretty satisfied finding that core Prophet and protecting that tier 1 mid tower.
That's a very good trade going the way of TNC. Fnatic are dragging a lot of heroes to try to take that early objective, as long as it stands. You know, TNC's wasting Fnatic's time instead of the other way around. You look at that top lane, KP's still giving a lot of pressure towards Savage. So even with all these rotations out, Savage is not getting as much farm as you'd want. And Gabby just doesn't feel the pressure. Ice leaves lane, he farms up, Ice comes back, he still doesn't care too much.
You're getting to that point where Gabby is going to start joining his team for these team fights as well. Definitely just wants to have the treads up before he does do so. And even after that, you can make the decision, right? Do you go after Diffusal or do you start fighting? Gabby's playstyle, maybe he will just go ahead and farm the Diffusal instead of joining these team fights. That's also just perfectly fine, because once that diffusal's up, even Savage on that Morphling's going to struggle quite a lot in surviving underneath the smoke screen.
Radiant are scanning.
It's one of the things we tend to see with Rickies, right? Like they can join early, but if you can greed out and just go for the diffusal, it pays off massively. I think Fnatic really needs to give Savage a lot more space though, and just so much pressure up top. It's not in a comfy spot to farm up. He does have the Morbid Mask, so he could sustain himself somewhere like the jungle. It's just that there's not much room there when everyone else is hanging around the area as well.
Yeah, it is tough. KP's just waiting. I'm not sure why he stomped like that. I guess he just hoped that the Morphling was there morphing Agi, actually. Doesn't get so lucky, but Savage did spot that out. They seem to be very, very confident on the side of Fnatic, just securing that farm on the Morph and Moon on his Clinks. The thing is, once that Clinks has a couple items up, he becomes a real powerhouse as well. It'll be very, very hard to control the Clinks once he has that first core item up. In fact, they are going to make a play onto March now. Ice is taping right behind. They do secure the kill, but Ice is going to drop low to Armel. Luckily for him, he did have the help of the Wyvern Clinks. And Armel unwilling to go any further.
They are starting to get a couple of successful rotations out. I don't know if this is going to be enough for Fnatic just yet. Again, you're still getting pretty much free farm on Gabby. Armel is still comfy in the jungle. I don't think TNC is actually going to be looking to fight too much, although.
Nice courier snipe there from Moon. KP did pick up his item before the courier did go down. Still a nice bit of gold there for the team of Fnatic. Now Moon going to TP down to the bot lane. Because they'd love to go after an early tier 1 tower. They were trying to go into mid, but they'll try and secure a bot instead. Gabby does just get his treads up. But he is now underneath the sentry ward and immediately gets sprouted up. Roll in. DJ going to connect perfectly, though they don't really have that much damage yet, not without Moon. He will rotate in now, but KP has joined the team fight. Again, straight onto Ice. The Skeletal War has been dropped, but Ice is still in huge trouble from this primal split, and it looks like he will eventually just burn out here to KP. In fact, he'll just keep going now after DJ. But the split was ending. He will back out. He protects Gabby. He finds that offlane profit again. TNC, they're going to be very, very happy with that.
Yeah, Fnatic again expends a lot of heroes down bot to try to find Gabby and get punished instead, although.
Yeah, there's going to be a fight on that mid-river. Jabs will die immediately, but they do secure the March kill, but now DJ going to be in trouble. Gabby will be able to find a double kill on the Ricky. And it was just a fight over that haze rune at the bot lane. Ends up getting denied anyway by Moon. But TNC find a 2-for-1 trade.
Yeah, again, they are finding the better end of the stick with these trades. This is stopping Gabby from farming now. He is feeling a bit more comfy joining these fights. And for Fnatic, this is giving Savage some space to farm up. It's just that that farm is not coming out, fast enough. It's a Morphling. We're at 11 minutes in. You're going to have to wait a little bit longer before Savage becomes a major factor in these engagements. So Fnatic is always going to be playing at a bit of a numbers disadvantage, and they should be a bit more careful with how aggressive they play.
Well, Savage will help out with that tier 1 push. Same is happening up at the top lane. Tims does actually take the spell there from Jabs. He's going to commit the Arctic Burn straight away onto Jabs. And we'll scout him out for Gabby, who is around the area, can just jump in and clean up this easy kill onto Jabs, and does get it. And with that, of course, Armel also joining in, will secure the tier 1 tower. And Armel has enough gold to finish off the Desolator already. So he'll go back to the base, he'll pick up that item. Meanwhile, KP getting dived underneath the tier 1 tower does go down. And DJ and Moon taking care of that Brewmaster now. But TNC, with this timing on the Deso, I think they can get rather aggressive again.
Yeah, there's a lot more damage that can fly out now onto Armel. The issue is gap closing, so you would still want that blink. But beyond that, it's easier to tear through anyone that overcommits.
Well, bot lane, we saw March going down as well on the Chen. DJ securing that kill for the team. Of course, Savage has been very, very active on this Morphling so far. That was his first kill participation, but even the bot tier 1 tower, he was there, dishing out the damage onto that tier 1. Tims will rotate down on the Rubik now to ensure that they can just force this wave out, but you've got to be careful because DJ is still waiting for another opportunity to roll in. He won't for now. And he might have to switch targets because the Roshan is under attack right now. Armel going for a very quick Roche with that fresh Desolator. Ice, of course, does scout it out, and now the traps are flying out. Moon, bot lane, does end up killing off Tims. Ice, however, going to be in big, big trouble. He'll try to TP out of there, and looks like he could make it out, and he does. Jabs will lose his life to Gabby, however. And it's going to be back into that Roshan pit.
Yeah, it's not something Fnatic is set up to stop. They will TP a couple of heroes down mid, but I don't think they're going to make it in time. So first Roche going to go free towards TNC. And now you've got to contend with 2 lives in Armel. At least the Blink's not quite up there. But once it's up, of course, it's going to be hard to really take Armel out for the next 5 minutes.
He'll have it up very, very soon. We've seen how fast these TAs can just farm. I'm sure he will be no exception. It is Armel after all. Still, Moon has been doing quite well himself, getting very close to that Orchid on the Clinks now. But he is about 2k worth of gold behind that TA. Up at top lane, Ice again being caught out. Gabby picking up his 5th kill of the game on this Riki. And Ice is not having a good game at all. That's 3 deaths so far on the Prophet, and just not really able to secure any form of farm.
Yeah, I think this is something that happens a lot when Ice is on his hero. It's just not as disruptive as you'd expect. It's a solid kind of pushing hero. It can be active in rotations, but it's not quite in his playstyle, you know? It doesn't fit that kind of disruptiveness you expect from Ice. And just based on how Fnatic do run, I think that takes away from some of their potency.
Mid lane. Roll doesn't connect on March. You still have Moon around the corner waiting, and March will get jumped on, but Hand of God will be expended. Now KB just not using Primal Split yet. He was silenced. He does commit now. Ice again going to be the priority target and does go down. And now the Tornado is there on the Earth Spirit. Savage showing himself, and he's ready to join the team if he needs to. But I think he may have to let DJ just die here. There is going to be a lift back. He will commit the Magnetize and the Silence. Now Moon will try and jump in and reinitiate for the team as Savage also waveforming back in. They do finally kill off March on the Chen. But it's definitely not going to be worthwhile as they lost 3 for that kill. And, I mean, even Gabby finding a kill on the Riki somehow onto the Wyvern while all that was happening. It's just not great news for Fnatic.
It really isn't, and they're not finding the trades in these fights. You're not seeing the potency of that Clinks really come out, and it's just so hard to fight. Oh,
Burn. Getting dusted up by Gabby there. Does still the skeletal walk. They actually dropped the army as well from the Rubik. Nice green skeletons. And Armel now. Deso Blink up and available. He's just got the Blink coming out on the Courier, but that is going to be a very, very nice timing for him. And I'm sure he'll try and make even more use of that before that Aegis expires. In fact, on top of that, Diffusal Blade now up on Gabby, and he finds 23 Savage.
ooh. Yeah, no, it's I mean, I get Fnatic. I get what they're trying to do. I get where they're trying to put Savage to farm. It's just not working out. You know, it's either Ice is going to get punished or Savage, and I think at this point you've got to accept that Ice needs to make that space. You can't afford to have both of these heroes trying to farm up, split up like this. You need to take the attention of TNC away from your Morphling, because Savage still doesn't have anything. Went for the SNY, which we
Gabby
don't tend to see a lot of, although.
Getting surrounded right now, but Armel is there to help out. DJ pops the Magnetize, and now with the Winter's Curse, it is on Gabby. He's taking a lot of damage, but Tricks of the Trade will be there. Armel's still protecting Gabby, but he does eventually end up dying. Moon, however, will trade his own life away for that. Ice. He will also die just before the TP ends up finishing, and now Savage trying to jump in by himself and fight the whole side of TNC. He almost does end up killing off March, but ultimately will have to waveform away.
Ooh, yeah, it's they do manage to kill one of the bigger net worths from TNC, but they trade a bit too much for that. Like, losing Moon when you really need Moon with the early farm is not helping the cause. At the least, with the Orchid, you can get a little bit more aggressive with Moon. He can certainly go hunting now. It's going to be easier to burst down those supports, or even put KP in an awkward spot, as he doesn't have anything defensive yet. So there is a way for Fnatic to dictate some of these engagements with that item pickup on Moon.
But they are waiting quite a bit for this Aegis to expire though, right? Like,
Yeah.
it seems as though they just do not want to try and fight into the TA Aegis, and I can't blame them for that. Bot lane, Tim's gonna take advantage of that added attack speed from the Skeletal Walk, and it's actually gonna work out as Gavi has rotated in as well. And oh, that Cold Embrace. Jabs? Cold Embrace himself. Luckily, he doesn't get picked off for it.
Yeah. I think he just didn't want to watch that happening, so he closed his eyes.
Fair
Didn't want
enough.
to watch his friend die.
I can't
was it.
blame him. It was quite scary.
Oh, Moon.
And Moon. May not realize Tim's is right there. Gabby goes invis as well. They know where he is. ISSI is going to TP in. They dust him up with the Orchid, but there's Tim's stealing. Does he steal anything? No, he just fade bolts, but Gabby is surviving throughout all this. And well, Gabby, now Tricks of the Trade will come out. He's starting to fall low. DJ to roll in as well. They'll go on the Rubik, but now here comes Armel. He's your real problem. ISSI Sprout TP out of there on the Prophet immediately. DJ now jumping in with the Magnetized and Savage to follow up on that Morphling. Trying to dish out the damage there onto Armel, but he is so tanky with Refraction. Now going into Meld, but they have Dust. Mel will die and he has no Aegis left. Jams will also lose his life to Gabby, but that does not matter as much as KP also going to get caught out on the Brewmaster now.
No.
And that is a huge couple of kills there for Fnatic.
Oh yeah, it looked a bit wonky to start off with. I thought that perhaps you could get a bit more from Tim's. He did get the Cold Embrace off to save Gabby at the start. It's just the follow-up was a bit too slow. And that was something Fnatic really built off of. So they've found themselves a nice set of kills. It doesn't quite turn the game yet. There's still a 4K deficit there for Fnatic, but as long as they keep that aggression up, they're comfy enough to throw Savage in front with the early SNY. They
Gabby.
keep finding these kills, they will take the lead.
Taking the outpost sub 20 minutes, but now the Orchid comes in with the Dust Moon. Dishing out a lot of damage with those Searing Arrows, and Savage is there as well. Tricks of the Trade is there. Gabby trying to blink out. He has one more Blink Strike, but there will be a great roll in from DJ. And will that be enough? It will be. Gabby, he got a bit greedy with the outpost, and ultimately it will cost him his life. In fact, it may even cost more as Moon isn't done. He's looking for another target. He won't find one.
Yeah, this is really hurting TNC though. Like, every single time Gabby dies, means that he's dropping further down in net worth, and we've talked about this, but Ricky doesn't tend to flash farm. He really depends on hero pickoff, so once you bleed a bit of that lead away, it becomes harder to claw that back, and it's Fnatic's turn now to start clearing out the objectives from a 4K lead down to a 1K lead for Fnatic for the most part. It has kind of balanced out, and Fnatic is starting to really regain some lost ground here.
Oh, Moon, he's going to find the bounty and a free Chen kill here onto March. Sprout is there from Ice just to make sure he can't get away. Very nice plays up from this Clink so far. The objective is for Fnatic, right? You've just got to try and delay things out, right? You've got this Morphling that'll scale better into the late game. You know the TA Rick is eventually going to drop off. So you just wait this out as long as possible. In fact, Moon scouting out for his team again. He will find Gabby. Ice is going to TP in. They must know something's wrong, and there's the dust coming out. Gabby again going to be the main priority target. Savage with the adaptive as well. It will all be enough. The hand of God. Just not enough to save Gabby. And with that, they look towards that tier 2 mid tower.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's structures are fortified.
They'll find it pretty easily as well. There's not really going to be any form of defense coming out apart from a Fade Bolt. Does go out very, very easily. And Fnatic now really looking to be in the driver's seat. Even Moon just slowly getting bigger and bigger, trying to work towards that Hurricane Pike now. He's really set a nice pace for his team. Look over to Savage. He's almost got that Eye of Skadi up. Opting to skip out the Ethereal Blade as he just feels like he doesn't need it. Meanwhile, however, TNC, they've smoked up. They'll take their outpost back. But Fnatic do the same. Into KP, smoke's gonna be broken. He does morph into the Brewmaster, and now jumping straight onto March. There goes the Chen. KP, he will Brewmaster split up. Is it gonna be enough to help out this time around? Doesn't look like it. Curse will be there onto the TA, so Armel being locked in. Now the smoke screen, however, straight onto Moon. He's in big trouble. Savage trying to help him out, but he kind of just runs in there with Ice Ice Ice. DJ, Magnetize is up. Moon's still alive, but it finally does end up going down to Gabby. Now Armel falling very, very low. That Magnetize still just ticking him down slowly, and Savage does find the kill. Now KP as well. No more Primal Split left. They do have a clumsy net. They lock him in, and it'll be a double kill coming out from the Morphling. And Savage will return the favor over to Gabby with the tip. And there's a nice bounty being placed on the head of that Riki. Tims. Still in that skeletal walk. There's no real sentries around right now to scout him out. Oh, now there is. But they're a bit too late. They seem to know Tims is around the area somewhere.
Double damage.
Probably should mention as well, by the way, that unfortunately my John's power died, so he'll be back very, very soon. But that's why you don't hear him right now. Unfortunate timing, of course, from John. Gabby, double damage, will jump onto DJ's Earth Spirit, but you do have the Skeletal Army coming down. Gabby takes a lot of damage from those skeletons, but ultimately will be able to walk away. Or will he? Savage is on top of him now with the Morph. They get the Winter's Curse off onto the Rubik. Trying to catch out that the Riki, but not quite getting there, and Tim's gonna go Invis again and just run out of there. No dust off cooldown for the side of Fnatic to really secure those kills. Now Savage. And morph back into himself. Armel does have the BKB up. It's at that 9-second charge now, but we saw last team fight, it didn't really seem to matter too much. They just prolonged the team fight out long enough. At which point the BKB just wears off and the TA just can't do anything. It will be a gank up again onto DJ. Really, really deep, but they do find a very, very nice kill. They will be able to find Tims in response, however. Moon will go ahead and tip him for that one as well. TNC just trying to bide their time a little bit. Maybe wait till Gabby gets that Manta up. That Orchid is proving to be very, very annoying here from the Clinks. Savage. I have Skadi up now. Gonna try and go after that Roshan. TNC, of course, going to have to try and fight this to the best of their ability. KB going to run with Primal Split. However, there will be a silence coming out. He's getting bursted quite fast, and it is going to be enough to take down that Brewmaster. Now the Winter's Curse is going to be out on Armel. Nice smoke screen out from Gabby, however, silencing quite a few there in the Meld Strike. Will secure the kill on Jabs, and now the Stolen Curse is going to be there onto Ice. DJ, however, trying to chase down Gabby, does find the kill on that Pos 1 Ricky. Meanwhile, Armel is just trying to run away here. More bounties being placed, or being secured rather. Buybacks flying out from TNC. Savage still looking very healthy as DJ runs back in with the Magnetize, now securing March on the Chen. Armel will be the next target. He tries to just meld. It is not going to be enough, however. They have the detection this time around. And KB, he just brought back into this team fight, and it looks like it is going to be a dieback coming out on the Brewmaster. A triple kill coming out from Savage.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
This is why his Morphling is just so fearsome. He's really starting to get out of control here. And well, now Fnatic, they feel very confident they can go for that tier 3 mid tower. And it's just going to be such a quick process with the Klink's Morphling.
Are fortified.
They'll glyph.
Dire's structures are fortified.
That's not going to be enough to force Fnatic back, however.
Radiant's middle tower.
They will at least get 1 Rax before they do go back. Maybe even 2. And yeah, Moon says let's go for the second.
Radiant's
They have
middle
time.
tower has fallen.
Armel opting not to buy back.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Perhaps just not feeling confident without KP on the Brewmaster, and that's a nice curse coming out from Tim's, but the Cold Embrace will save.
Under attack.
Ice will be perfectly fine, and well, with 2 Raxes down, they're more than happy to just get out of there. They do still have that top tier 2 tower on the Radiant side, so they can't go for the Megas. And that puts the side of Fnatic in a very, very nice position. In fact, in such a position, they can just go back for that Roshan play.
Are scattered.
Of course, it'll be pretty much uncontested. KP and Gabby were roaming in to try and steal it away, but it's not going to be quite in time. And now Ice. Sprout out, trying to find a target, but doesn't quite get one. Gabby will also be out of there. Or is he? No, he is not. They found him. Does get caught out, and with that Meteor Hammer follow-up, he is just going to die. A lot of tips coming out onto Gabby. And Fnatic, I mean, they're easily going to be able to find this this top tier 2 tower now. It's just going to be a matter of whether they're willing to go high ground again. Which I think, in all honesty, they obviously could. The 12k net worth lead and an Aegis.
Radiant's top tower has fallen. Radiant's
They
top
do.
tower is under attack.
Butterfly now up on Savage as well to make matters worse for the side of TNC. And this is going to be a very, very quick Megas coming out if TNC aren't careful about this. Great Meteor Hammer out onto 2. March getting caught out there with KP, who does end up dying. He has no buyback. March about to die. Hand of God comes out. It won't be enough. He'll die as well. And the GG has been called. And that'll mean our first series of the BTS Pro Series Season 2 is going to end up being a draw. A 1-1 between both these two.
Victory.
It was a decently close Game 1. Game 2 looked to be going TNC's way for the first half, but well, Savage came online and so did Moon, and after that it just didn't matter for Fnatic. They just kind of steamrolled over the side of TNC. With that, of course, we are going to have to just go straight into our next series. In fact, our next series is going to be... It'll be Fnatic once again. This time around, they'll be up against Reality Rift in the second series of the day. So Fnatic going to have to play 2 series in a row. are going to be showing their first series of the whole BTS Pro Series 2 coming up next. It is MLP Dota, and hopefully soon it'll also be johnxfire. We'll see you all again in about 5 to 10 minutes for that next series. See you then.